Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John, here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
I mean, what an absolute shocker we've had here, lads. I mean, if you've missed it, listeners, we got absolutely...
What are you talking about? Since we've last recorded, one win, one draw, one loss.
Yeah,
No, it's been terrible.
that doesn't be...
Things have not improved.
Things have sunk. Things have sunk like a welly in Marsh Barton. It's just rubbish.
Marsh Barton, not really an actual marsh these
Not
days,
anymore,
is
no.
it?
No.
More kind of like
Car showroom.
got a train station and that now.
Oh,
haven't they?
yeah.
It's time to start taking Marsh Barton seriously.
All right.
How long until we start inhabiting Marsh Barton?
What, me and you?
Well, anyone. The warehouse district. Come on, sort of Hackney warehouse loft.
Oh, I see. Someone move
conversion.
into like the Exeter car superstore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know.
Convert it into flats.
Yeah.
Have it as a sort of bohemian district. I'd live there. Now it's got a train station.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Make your pitch, everyone.
Close to double locks. Nice pub.
Yeah. Close to the energy to waste to energy works.
Yeah.
So
Convenient.
it's got it all. Just fling your rubbish straight in there. Don't know what happened if you went down with a crisp packet and asked where to put it.
Yeah, well, just put it straight in there.
I tell you where you should
Stick
put
it in the top.
In Colwell's
Stick it down the
pocket.
Let's not put anything in his pockets.
And that's what I think of you. And stick
Except
a
his
golden wonder
P45.
packet. Ah, mate. So we beat Swindon in that cup that doesn't even count.
The Bristol Motors.
Bristol Street Motors glory hole.
Calf. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
We beat Swindon 1-0. It was an own goal, and then they realised we weren't going to have any goals this month for the goal of the month competition, so they had to give it to Wildschut.
Yeah, we played basically full strength team against their
Boys.
children.
Yeah.
But we got a 1-0 win. Anyway, that's not really that important given what
No, it was, because it
followed.
was sold as like turning point. Here we go, off we go, ready to go. And we were ready to go straight to Bolton.
Turning Point UK.
Yeah, that's right. And we got absolutely... Oh,
Well, we knew a loss was coming
we felt a loss was coming.
away at the Bolton University.
No, the tough sheet.
Ah,
They've done that clever renaming, called it the tough sheet.
right, yeah. Okay, yeah, 7-0. Absolutely battered. Lot was said about how well we were played in the first half an hour.
Yeah.
Um,
Didn't matter much, did it? Didn't count for naught.
I don't think we even really did play very well. I think what happened there was Bolton just took a while to get going. Probably thought we were going to be an absolute walkover,
Which we...
which we were, but maybe they took it for granted for half an hour or so, and then thought, oh no, just got to try a little bit harder, and then we'll demolish them.
fell apart.
Demolish us, they did. Check Diabate up front.
Yeah, bold move by GC. Man who's never played up front before.
That's all you need to know, really, doesn't it, about our attacking options at the minute? Musquay, where's he? Don't know. He's not on the bench. He's not in the squad at the moment. Injured for playing for Zimbabwe, something like that. Anyway, he's gone.
He's down Marsh Barton scoping out
Forget
future
him.
flat.
Forget him.
Forget him. I mean, honestly, my current outlook is, I don't even blame the players. I just think, like, what can you do with a mad system? And then, so we got absolutely thumped, 7-0.
Our biggest defeat in the league since sometime in the 60s.
Yeah. I remember Chesterfield 6-1, and obviously I remember Ipswich last season. I mean, that's the problem, innit? They're getting more rapid.
I said this the other day. We've lost by a big scoreline under Caldwell so much more often than we did under the last few managers.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost the thing he's most known for.
I mean, everyone's got to have a thing, haven't
they? We're getting battered.
My thing is...
Ironically, he is Scottish, and they love battering stuff.
Is that the problem? Someone said, Gary, can you go down England and, evangelise about battering?
Maybe.
And he thought, yep, no problem. I'll go to a place I hate and ruin their lives.
I mean, if it was this sort of espionage mission, then it's a very successful one.
Very successful. Some sort of Rob Roy for the 21st century. I'll hit him where it hurts. in a lower league football team.
Well, yeah, like internationally renowned beauty spot, Exeter. Famously, the Baedeker bombings.
Yeah.
Very similar situation.
I hope you're not equating Coldwell and Himmler.
I'm not actually.
No,
No.
I probably am, actually.
Well,
He's ruining a thing of beauty.
Well, that's harsh.
Probably is harsh.
I think he's trying his best.
I'm sure he is. Like, to be sensible for a moment, of course he doesn't want this to be the situation. This is his reputation on the line. But it's flipping awful. I mean, it's just flipping awful. And the thing about Bolton was, we all knew it was coming. But it was 2-0 at half-time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just say nothing. I mean, for goodness sakes, we haven't got any strikers on the pitch anyway. Just put 10 behind the ball.
Yeah.
Play for some pride, lads. Play for the poor old saps that have travelled up there for all those hours and paid all their money. And, like, it's not. And play for the players. Do the players are solid and think they don't need this on their CV.
Don't set them up to get absolutely ruined. Like, yeah, at half time, it was quite clear that we weren't getting anything out of that game. And Bolton were already in danger of running rampage.
Yeah.
So at that point, just like kind of go, right, absolute damage limitation here. Let's just stick 11 men behind the ball.
11 men behind the ball.
And just foul them.
Yep.
I don't know, but we didn't do that, and they scored 5 more.
And they're all dreadful. Like, none of it's like, oh, that's really good. I mean, fair play to Bolton, they knew where to pass it. But
no, they cut us to ribbons, like played through us, tap-ins, just incisive. Didn't need to be particularly great, did they?
No. So that was that. And then everyone's up for that. Surely that's the line to be drawn. Surely that's the end of it. Like Colbo's interview after the game, he was pushed on it by and fair play to the BBC. I don't often listen to this. Normally we get obviously the club feed, and I realise the paymaster means you can't ask the really difficult questions. But the BBC were like, well, what's going on here? What's happening? And he was like, it's not up to me anymore. And I thought, oh, he's got an inkling it's coming. It hasn't come, not yet. We're recording at 11:20 on Wednesday morning.
No, and there are rumours that there's an 11 o'clock meeting today, but
you know what rumours are like, Dan. They swirl around between Xweb and Twitter, and people texting me, and I think, maybe, who knows? But
there's so much to.
And so just to unravel that, so yeah, he at that point said was not up to me, and I felt like his interview was kind of, we're trying something and we just need time and January's coming, which was all I expected him to say. Then last night we've got Shrewsbury at home, right? Shrewsbury are in dreadful away form, like equal to us.
Oh, like absolutely shocking, their away form.
And not good in the
70% losses away, 20% draws, 10% wins. 0.2 goals scored, 1.8 goals conceded, 20% clean sheets, 80% failed to score. Just if you look at it on paper, right, there's no that there. In terms of how many points you want to pick up in the season, that was, if you don't want to go down, you have to beat teams like that.
Yeah.
Currently, we're one of the teams that the other people have to beat in order to not get relegated.
Yeah.
Probably the main one. But that, for us, was kind of our main one.
Yeah.
Anything else happened midweek before we sort of touch on last night's game?
Well,
nothing happened, obviously.
Some
we've had, before the Bolton game, we'd had 2 messages from either both boards.
Yep.
We'd had a message from each board. Either side of the Trust AGM, which I went to.
Oh, yeah.
By the way. Didn't learn a huge amount. I learned quite a lot of stuff about what the Trust's up to, but not a huge amount about the Coldwell situation. It was touched on. I kind of went because I thought maybe some people would kick off and sort of start screaming.
Yeah.
I didn't do that, obviously, even though and I... Even before that, was very firmly in the, and actually, I think I said after the Fleetwood game that he should have gone then.
Yep.
International break one, which I still think. I didn't say anything because I'm not saying anything, am I? For a start, I'm the youngest person there.
Right.
They all kind of know each other's names and stuff,
Right.
And then it's like, I'm not going to like.
How
And
many
also,
people?
I'm shy and I'm not going to stand up.
How many are there?
There's quite a lot of people there. They're to bring in extra chairs.
Like 20, 50, 100?
100, 80-ish.
Right, okay.
Say.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's been a push, hasn't there? Like, depending on where you look, like, X-Web seems like firmly, obviously not everyone, but most people want to get rid of him.
Well, short of going out and, canvassing in person, those are all you've got to go on, really. And yeah, the internet seems fairly in favour of change. I think what's happening, at least online, and if probably not, again, you do have to kind of wonder whether these things are, indicative of broad opinion, or if it's just kind of people on the internet. I think this is very hard to say, but I think the board risks kind of really bringing scrutiny on themselves. I mean, by not acting when it's like kind of really quite bad on paper, and when it's actually quite time sensitive. We've already gone over this, but about how much time there is until the window.
Yeah.
The fact that we need to spend money, and then do we then want to entrust Gary Caldwell with that responsibility?
Yeah.
And I think they're just kind of they're kind of very bringing attention onto themselves, and then you bring in it highlights other things that people maybe don't like about it, and that kind of thing. And then now, the longer it goes on, the more people's attention just turns to them. And then onto the trust model, and people going like, get rid of it, it's not working. And it's just like, their inaction is, I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's foolish.
Well, we've got the trust and the club board have the intention, partly because of the community aspect of the club, to be honourable people, right? Now, partly that was to do with how well Paul Tisdale did at the start, right? As in, like, we didn't have to think about sacking him because it was a triumph at the beginning. So we already... Do you remember when there were all the league tables of clubs where the manager had stayed longest and then Tisdale and Wenger were right at the top?
Yeah, yeah.
But even way before he was annoying us all, he was one of the longest standing. So you build this kind of narrative of, well, we try and act honourably, but also actually it really helped us. Would we have thought that acting honourably and keeping a manager for a really long time were the same thing if the two things hadn't coincided at the start? So now we're at this point where we're like, well, we're honourable people and we do the right thing. And that seems to also equate with, well, we just kind of are blinkered about, we don't sack people. And actually...
Yeah.
It's very much a results business. I don't want to be that guy.
I think there needs to be these two kind of concepts need to be uncoupled.
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
They talked about this a lot. This is one of the things I did notice from the AGM about how they were really kind of tying it to like the decision to kind of stick by Caldwell was really tied to kind of the ethos of the trust model, and how he he gets involved in all the kind of community stuff and how he's like that's fine. What's stopping that? Why don't we uncouple these two things? There's nothing would change. We can still have that ethos as a club with a club. Why does the manager need to be someone who completely buys into every aspect of the trust? I don't really know why. I mean, good if he does, but I don't know why that's so imperative that it then becomes irrelevant of how well he does his job. Yeah. Purely based upon the fact that, well, he goes along to a charity shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every manager, regardless of whether they're owned by Saudi billionaires or run by the people that go and watch the team and stuff, the managers always go off and do like community stuff. They're still visiting the hospital.
Yeah.
They're still doing all those things. They're still signing stuff. I mean, like... It's just sort of in name only that it's this thing of like, well, no, he's representative of the thing. This whole thing could have been like avoided by like, that's still the case. We're still this way minded. This manager's not worked out. Absolutely seems like a lovely guy. Sorry, it hasn't worked out. Change is needed. it's very important. They mentioned all these things about the finances of the club at the AGM, and at no point did they say, "Oh, by the way, these are completely results dependent."
Yeah.
Because if we get relegated, everything changes.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this is boring for listeners, but like I work with charities a lot, and a charity like Samaritans, obviously the main imperative of it is that people who are in danger of doing awful things to themselves because they're got mental health problems, that's the main imperative of the charity. That doesn't mean that if the charity's run poorly by the CEO, he's still got a job. Do you know what I mean? Like the two things are completely separate. CEO's not doing his job, loses his job. The Samaritans can still be the Samaritans and care about people
Yeah.
and need to be run properly.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing we're up against. And I know I've talked about this before as well, but Joey Barton, my cousin's a nurse in Bristol, visited him during COVID with a basket of fruit. So he's doing the Coldwell thing, air quotes.
Well, everybody does it.
Everyone does it. So that just proves it. But we wouldn't want... That's the thing I would draw the line about. Joey Barton's got a terrible record of, like, behaviour outside of the club. Therefore, we wouldn't want to employ him.
Yeah, but that line is a long way
it's
away.
It's a long
isn't it?
way off from, like, paints the flags and says hello to children.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good guy.
I get
Said
it.
hello
I
to
get
a
it,
child.
right? Because they obviously know the guy. We
Yeah.
don't know him, but I do get it from watching. Every time I watch an interview with him, in a way, it's getting less now. But before, I kind of he's all right. I like him. Do you mean let's give him another go? Do you mean, I do think that a little bit in my brain. I mean, I'll be honest, that has probably gone now. I watched
That's
one
like
this
8
morning.
games ago, I'd imagine.
But I do understand that it's hard, isn't it? To like kind of, it's a hard decision because they like him. And he does seem like a nice fella.
I mean, going forward, when this inevitably ends, whenever that is, there probably needs to be an uncoupling, again, of, like, decision-making and, like, how much you socialise, how much you grow. You have to be separate. So maybe the board has to start thinking, like, well, actually, we don't really deal with the manager on a day-to-day basis. One person's appointed to, so that we can make... objective decisions.
Oh yeah. I mean, the other thing is, would it work the other way? I mean, in a way, maybe they're right to think it would because Tisdale, when things were going well, fair enough, did stick around when was offered. He did get opportunities, at least we know, to go to bigger clubs, and he stuck with us.
Yeah.
So maybe they're thinking Gary would do the same thing, but would he definitely? To me, like, say he's offered like. We're just sticking by him, even though we've just got getting battered every week and haven't scored for a year.
Yeah.
If he was doing really well and then was offered like
Celtic,
presumably Matt Taylor bought into the trust model, he still went the first time he got offered a big contract.
Of course, and like no one holds it against Watkins.
No, I don't hold it against Matt Taylor.
No,
that's just a normal way of running things, not in this kind of weird. We're so different, kind of almost cult-like kind of like attitude that we seem to have.
And we can be different,
bizarre.
And we are different in our funding model. And therefore, essentially, the chance of our club being taken away from us in ways that we don't like, we are different in that sense, but we can't be different in terms of football's a sport and the money that comes into the club directly relates to success or failure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gary had a bad week, so on top of his 7-0, the jokes have been flying in, but he finally got some points on his licence and got banned from driving.
Yes.
Judgment came down and he tried to justify it by saying it wasn't his fault and he had to drive around. No, not that it wasn't his fault, but that...
no, you try and go like, I need the licence to do my job.
I need a licence to do my job.
Which I guess works in some situations.
Well,
if you've been caught speeding and then you then go like...
If you're a van driver.
I'm a van driver. This is my job, but... His job isn't driving.
And there's a thing called trains, Gaz.
Yeah.
Get on the Falcon. Get up Bristol on the Falcon.
So he's now... I mean, when you're having a bad time...
I know, on a personal level, that's bad for him. Anyway...
Well, I mean, it's not nice, is it? Do you mean, like, the more it goes... And honestly, the more it goes on, the worse it's... We're risking it kind of, like, really kind of affecting him on a human level...
I mean,
and and his family, what are they thinking about this? The longer it drags on of us being terrible on the board, going like, no, he's still fine, he ticks all the boxes. It's just like it's going to get worse and worse for him. There comes a point where you kind of got to do the man a favour.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he could step down, but he's not likely to, is he? Because
Well,
how would you?
Inevitably with a football manager, if you don't get, if you're not leaving because you've been offered another job, Matt Taylor style, there's always going to be a gap. Now, if you're someone of high renown, Gary O'Neill or Ten Hag or whatever, there'll be a job where you can find a job straight away.
Gary O'Neill was your first thought.
I just thought he got
the
stitched.
manager of high regard.
He got stitched up by Bournemouth, is what I mean.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, he walked into a job, then he went straight to Wolves.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But Coldwell may well not walk into a job. He may never get another manager job again.
No. Well, this is the thing. Yeah.
So I don't blame him for not walking away. He'll need some sort of package of being sacked to. I don't know how much he gets paid. I don't know what his commitments are, but I do understand he's currently expecting to get paid for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I get why he's not walking away. I do feel like the board have a duty of care to him because it's minging all round for everyone, for him and his coaching team and the players, because they're getting tarred with this awful brush, which may or may not be fair. We don't know.
I mean, it's kind of it's hard to distinguish at the moment, isn't it? You mean?
What does that do to like Hartridge? He's a young player.
I know, but ultimately, it kind of like, and all of these guys, James Scott, all the ones that are really Ameson, the ones that are really getting it. I'm not really having to go at anyone for being upset and for any reaction to anything, fans' reaction. Do you mean it's ultimately it's the fans' club, regardless of whether you're trust owned or whatever.
Yeah,
the supporters are every club. Do you mean so? It's all these other people are transient.
Yeah.
Colwell won't be here forever, even if he was doing brilliantly. The players won't be here forever, no matter whether they're good or bad. I mean, so it's like, it's more important to us than it is to any of them.
Yeah.
So our opinion does matter more. Do you mean? And I don't just think one person says sack him, so sack him. It's not a matter of that, but
no. I mean, this is the thing. The supporters have been very generous, like impossibly generous. This is rubbish. This is rubbish football with rubbish results. And the football was rubbish before the results came. And fast forward, if you ignore August, like we talked about last week, it was rubbish in March and May and April as well. So we've had a really long time now of terrible football with mainly terrible results.
Yeah.
And we've been generous.
But really terrible results, as in getting thumped.
Yeah.
And in the patches of when we've done well, at times we've played some nice football, but we've not convinced, and we haven't really scored any goals at all.
No.
For ages.
No. So I feel like there's been a lot of patience, and I feel like the board are currently, who knows what they're thinking. I'd imagine they're thinking, it ain't that bad. A couple of wins and they'll change. That doesn't really matter. Like, objectively, this is rubbish, and you're going to sink the football club. And in a sense, you should be able to block out the noise of the supporters. You've just got lucky; they're not making much noise until now. And think, is this good enough for our football club, for the situation we were in when this manager arrived, and for all the hard work we've put in over the last 10 years to get to this point?
They must be able to look at the evidence that's right in front of their eyes. Every single stat, every single football, every single possible stat is recorded and viewable as evidence, especially to them.
Yeah.
And what about any of it suggests we're not going to get relegated?
And therefore really struggle for a few, relegations.
Well, we've already talked about the implications of relegation. No one really knows. Maybe circumstances might come to pass that we do get relegated, but then we have an unbelievable season, come straight back up next year. But you can't possibly assume that, and you kind of have to plan for the more realistic option, which is actually really difficult to get back there. Do you mean? But the other thing is, you need to show that that's important to every Exeter City fan, that we sustain it. Right now, having taken that long to get there, that we have a proper go at staying there. You need to show that you're on the same page.
Yeah.
That's what every supporter wants. But if that's not coming across the whoever the higher up people within the club aren't, if it comes across that they're not on that same page, then we've got like a bit of there's a disconnect there, isn't there? You know, and it's weird for a fan-owned club to be in that situation, but we are.
We'll come on to last night in a second. So, Tuesday night, freezing cold, Shrewsbury at home. The moon was out. People were howling. The Winter Wonderland's not there.
Not yet.
I mean, it's nearly December.
Does that mean it's not happening this year?
I mean, the Winter Wonderland, surely, they're not the kind of people that are like, it's not officially winter yet, we're not opening.
I don't know. Would it not go on the same time they do the big switch on of the Christmas lights? That hasn't happened yet, has it?
I think they've just switched them on. I mean, I don't think we're having the big switch on, are we?
Why not?
Don't know.
Where have you got that information from?
I haven't, but they're on. And
Are they? Oh, they are on. What have we become? Back in the
Who
day,
are we?
I remember being disappointed that they had Bob the Builder turn it on, and I think, and I thought that's not a real celebrity. That's a man in a suit.
Yeah, okay.
That could be anyone.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that was a cop out. So to just switch him on behind our backs, without even a kind of, a nod to the fact that this is a grand institution, I think is scandalous.
Yeah, and of course the carnival's cancelled as well after 1 year back.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Austerity.
And we're getting relegated. So thanks a bunch, everyone.
Everything's gone to shit.
Argyle are winning. This has happened. I bet they got.
No,
I bet
they lost last night.
They got someone turning on their lights, haven't they?
I bet they have. Yeah. Who's from Plymouth?
Who isn't? Tom Daly.
They probably got Tom Daly switching on their Christmas lights in a little pair of Speedos.
I bet he'd jump off a high dive into a...
And as he lands, hit the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would look really cool.
Well, we got nothing. A man in a cherry picker connecting the last thing up with a spanner.
Yeah, we could have had Luke Friend turn them on. Is that what he's called?
Yeah, could have had Joss Stone.
Yeah. Used to make this used to be a real country,
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't even used to have to be like Exeter celebrities. You get someone in. You ship someone in. They're cheap enough, aren't they?
Yeah.
These people, they'll do anything for money.
I'd get Anton Dubeck.
Yeah. Get Dubeck in.
Yeah.
Get anyone. Get Claire Sweeney.
Yeah. That's Pierce's sister, presumably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They'd be related somewhere along the line.
I'd get... Oh, I don't know. It's so hard to choose. So many good celebrities.
We've had Noel Edmonds in the past.
We have,
I mean, he's absolutely disgraced himself now, so...
if you want a disgraced celebrity, they're easy to come by.
Yeah.
Lawrence thingy.
Llewellyn Bowen.
No, the racist.
Lawrence Fox.
Yeah, get him. He'd be cheap. He's desperate.
I'd be so gutted that the amount of people that were there liking him.
Oh, that'd be annoying, wouldn't it? Oh, well, let's go the other end of the spectrum. Let's get someone so right on, we'd all love it. What's he called? Why can I never remember anyone's name today? The one that was Bernie, the Democrat candidate for America.
Bernie Sanders.
Get Bernie Sanders to turn on the lights. Get Corbyn.
Corbyn, yeah. Bernie Sanders is dead to me, but yeah, okay, well, whoever, yeah.
I'd get Jeremy Corbyn. That'd show him. That'd show Lawrence Fox coming down here trying to turn on our lights.
That would show him. That would show them all.
Yeah.
Bowman. That would show him.
Bowman?
I don't know. I feel like Bowman is sort of like people.
Wow.
He's sort of anti-woke. He's the anti-woke
That is absolute slander. He's done nothing. He loves it. He's a friend to all people.
Okay.
Bowman turn on the lights. That'd be good.
Speaking of Bowman,
perfect segue.
He played last night.
He was there starting.
For Shrewsbury.
Leading the line,
so,
laughing.
Like you said, Shrewsbury, terrible away record.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
Can't score, can't win away. Ryan Bowman starts, and that's because they also have absolute shitloads of injuries.
Yeah.
So they're if you're going to beat anybody, it's these.
No, we won't be doing that.
Checks up front again.
Yeah.
Wiltshire's starting.
Yeah.
He's kind of wing-back-ish. Rankin's back.
Yeah.
He's sort of playing somewhere.
10, I don't know. It's hard to say, wasn't it?
Ilmari Niskanen's back. These are just,
Reece Cole's there. Tom Carroll's on the bench.
Reece Cole's back.
Yeah.
All right. What are the positives from this match?
Well, better than 7-0, right? As in, like, we
Yeah.
control. I mean, if we're starting low.
The place didn't get blown up.
Yeah.
That's basically the same
Lawrence
thing.
Fox wasn't there. These
Yeah.
are all positives. Negatives. The Winter Wonderland doesn't look like it's coming this year.
No, well, that's what you think.
That's what I think. I tell you what. Yeah. The positives are.
I mean, it's pointless to say, isn't it?
Well, the
But-
players played with some intent.
Yeah, I thought Reece Cole was good.
Yeah. Hit the post with a free kick.
He's also someone who, I mean, it seems pointless even talking about football stuff, doesn't it? But I did think that, he gets the ball and gets his head up.
I was talking about it to our friend Jack, who we were stood with, and I was like, you look at it, there's some good players on the pitch. Like, starting being really pathetic, good goalkeeper. Like, Sinisalo, good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Aimson, after some wonky weeks, had a good game.
Yep.
No, admittedly, against weak opposition.
Well, I mean, and in a way, there was I'd say in the first half especially, there was a slight shift in terms of, like, weren't passing it across the back line
we weren't.
over and over again.
No.
And in fact, Aimson was pinging these cross-field balls,
Yeah.
like, with kind of like, unbelievable accuracy, really.
Yeah. I think Niskanen and
Sort of Paul
Rankin.
Scholes-esque.
Yeah, it was. And I think Niskanen and Rankin and Cole, there's good players there.
Yeah, and Trevitt looked
And Trevor.
not, a bit more like the earlier form we'd seen.
But
However, yeah, we didn't score. We couldn't score. We weren't even close to scoring.
we weren't in any danger of scoring. Neither was Shrewsbury.
They were really bad.
Yeah.
And we could not capitalise on probably the. I mean, it's
We're not going to
League
get
One.
easier games, are we?
I'll be surprised if there's an easier home game or a worse away team.
And Colwell, in his interview afterwards, right, Craig Bratt was like, lack of quality up front. And Colwell replied, crossly, I would say, certainly with vigour, and said, it's not a lack of quality, it's a lack of confidence.
Belief, he said.
Belief, thank you.
The other thing is, which was strange on this point, was he'd already said twice there was a lack of quality in the same interview.
He's being an arse now, isn't he? He's got arsey. And fine, the pressure's on. But here's the thing. He then referred to XG, right? Which is how essentially a rating based on how good your chance is. So a penalty is seen as like a good rating for XG. An open goal, very good rating. He was like, well, we didn't shoot. The chances we had were low XG, so we're never going to score from those. And I'm like, that's all we've got, mate. He's obviously of the opinion, and we've known this all along.
Well, those were our best chances, and they weren't real chances.
We've known this all along from the passing across the line. He's obviously told them, until it's a really good chance, don't waste possession. That's obviously what he's ingrained in them.
Well, that's kind of the possession model.
Yes.
That's how it works.
But we ain't getting good chances. So the whole thing falls down, and we don't have a striker, so the whole thing falls down. And the players that might be strikers aren't playing in that position. You've put a centre-back up there who, this is not a criticism of him, Czech, at all, and he tried his best in basically impossible circumstances because, he doesn't know what to do. He spent his whole life being a centre-back, and now you've chucked him up there.
I know. I mean, the strange thing here is, in what world is that a better option than playing Sonny Cox there?
Yeah.
A man who, fair enough, isn't a target man or a hold-up player necessarily, but has at very least played his whole life as a striker.
Yeah.
No, he's on loan to Torquay. Is it Torquay? Yeovil.
Yeah. So it's madness. And so I felt like the veil really fell.
Anyway, yeah. I'd say, yeah.
And I was like, he just doesn't want to score unless it's a tap-in. And that the whole premise of that, it falls down because the system you've created won't do that.
Yeah. So when we got there, you got one fella wearing a Sack Coldwell t-shirt, printed up.
Yeah.
Effort.
Good effort.
And you've got someone with a, small, not invisible Coldwell out banner.
Yes.
In the
Stansfield.
Stansfield stand.
Yeah.
Which there was some suggestion that stewards were kind of telling him to get rid of it, or they're going to kick him out or something.
There's been some suggestions. I've not heard.
I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, it wasn't there in the second half. But
Oh, wasn't it?
neither in the first half, no sign of Caldwell.
No.
So we were thinking like, has he gone? Has something happened and he's not? But then I remembered he said when he was suspended on the and he watched the game from up in the gantry. He said he quite liked the view. So
yeah,
I don't think he was up there, but I think he was just sat up by the director's
he was
box
sat far back in the dough ball stand
for the whole first half.
And then emerged at the start of the second half.
Yeah,
weird, obviously. Because I mean, apart from anything else, Shrewsbury are rubbish.
Well, stop. I mean,
It's
mate,
not
you're not helping yourself by doing weird stuff like that. You mean like that? You might get a better view, but no other managers do that, do they? If Pep Guardiola and Klopp start watching all the matches from a high up seat, fair enough. You start doing it, but don't do it when it's just not a thing. It just looks weird. And then also, when we haven't scored for 10 years, why are you doing a weird? When we have a corner, we're doing this weird kind of like all stand in a line in a weird, but not like kind of England did it, in a weird place, and then we're all going to run in. It's like no, I've not got my badges, but no one else is doing that. No. So I think the chance that you've stumbled on some unbelievable technique to score from a corner, pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
Just
nonsense.
Do it normally.
I mean, I don't want to be the put it in the mixer guy, but you really improve your chances if people are starting from a decent position. And I know it's to like sow seeds of doubt in the defence's mind, but you ain't that good at corners.
No, and again, everyone would do that if it worked.
Yeah. And then as the game progressed, like fair play to the supporters, good support for the team.
Those two incidents, T-shirt man and three sheets of A4 banner man.
Yeah,
that was the only kind of like obvious,
outward
kind of like really kind of like straight, direct criticism.
Yeah,
while the game was on.
Yeah,
at the end of the match.
Yeah,
you got we want Caldwell out chance from. It wasn't everyone in the Big Bank, but some people in the Big Bank.
I'd say several hundred.
It was audible. It wasn't like the whole ground was singing it. That's just literally not the case. But some people were singing it enough that you could hear it. So that happened. But they kept that until after the match was over, and the team were well supported by the supporters.
Yeah,
they were clapped. They were we were
singing songs,
throughout the game.
No, I thought it was noticeable that they were going to the effort to support the team.
Yeah.
And then the interview, which I thought was insane, actually, in the current situation, because Sinisalo was also interviewed and made a real. We're so sorry. Like I don't think
Caldwell wants to, obviously he doesn't want to do that, does he? Because that's kind of admitting defeat in a way, isn't it? Sinisalo can do it because he's just a player.
Yeah, I guess
if
so.
Gary comes out and says that, then that's just sort of like, oh, he knows it's over. He's got to kind of like pretend it's not.
Yeah. So there we are. That's the situation.
So the problem now is, I mean, unless there's some meetings happening right now, and he's been. Given his marching orders as we speak, we've now got another 10 days until we play Port Vale at St James's Park as well. That'll be a harder match than Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
They're doing quite well, aren't they? They definitely were.
Well, the
thing
is...
Anyway, it's difficult to see much being different. I mean, obviously there were a couple of signs of improvement compared to a 7-0 defeat, but like we said, we didn't look like we were going to beat Shrewsbury, who were one of the worst teams we've had to play.
Yeah, no, Port Vale are only one position above us.
Oh right, okay.
And Shrewsbury beat them back along at Shrewsbury, but they won in the FA Cup. They beat Burton 2-0. They drew with Lincoln. Sounds familiar. They beat Mansfield in the EFL. Remember, because they're still in that. They're the one team that's still in the quarterfinals for the.
Of course.
Yeah. So they're not playing well, but they're not getting thrashed.
No, it doesn't matter, does it? Because Shrewsbury are terrible, and we couldn't beat them.
No.
So
that's right.
I guess this now, like I said, unless something happens today, this trundles on for another week, and we've got another situation where I don't think people are going to be massively turned one way or the other. I think it's going to... And all that's happening is the clock's ticking down.
Yeah. No, that's right. And of course, then the problem is the games, because this is the opportunity, because then the games come thick and fast.
The opportunity was against Fleetwood.
Well, I realise that, yeah.
Since then, we got absolutely thumped by Bolton and humiliated.
Yeah.
They chose not to do anything then, when there was a big chance to do it. At the international break, plenty of time till January. We've now... All that's happened. We've now got a week off, 10 days. There's still a significant amount of time just until January. If nothing happens now, we go past the Port Vale game, we're getting to the point where it's going to be, you've acted too late. And even if the action does happen, it's too late now. It's not, because we still got the whole season, but it's too late to be the best thing we could have done.
Yeah. I know.
But maybe we'll win.
I mean, there's always the chance. Of course there is. And
we could be in a situation where we pick up some points, we beat Port Vale, maybe we get some other good results. Then we get to January, he does bring in some impressive players. We turn it around in the second half of the season, and I'll be happy to hold my hands up and say I was wrong about this. He's done a decent job and he's kept us where we want to be. I'll be delighted to be saying that.
Yeah.
I just don't know how. I can't have any faith in that position, basically.
I just can't see how we're ever going to score. Like, honestly.
We'll buy in a striker. You know?
Yeah.
But even then, yeah, I agree that the system isn't perfect. But yeah, say we've got some goal scorer in. I think we're at a situation where how have we got to this stage where we're relying on getting, one player or two players to solve all of our problems in the January transfer window, which everyone knows is not a good time to get players.
Yeah.
Strikers are the hardest sort of thing to buy. The absolute mess of letting Nombe go. Well, we're always going to let Nombe go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to go.
Yeah.
We got a record-breaking offer from him. We must have known this was a high possibility.
Yeah.
We did nothing about it. We missed out on a lone attacking midfielder. And that apparently is...
That's the reason we're in this
we're in this position. Because we sold one of our best strikers in recent years and didn't replace him. But we were going to replace him with this kid from Fulham, but we didn't get it over the line in the end. It's pathetic.
I just think, here's the problem.
Pathetic, and it's absolutely insane that we've done that.
Yeah. Here's the problem, right?
What are they doing?
Here's the problem. Here we sit, amateur podcasters, right, of a low-level football team.
Couple of chumps, basically.
Absolute chumps. No
Turnips.
Formal qualifications. Turnip and a Swede. And if a player becomes interested, or a manager becomes interested in our team, or we think this manager's coming, we Google it, right? We just look it up.
Yeah.
And what you see is enough information to make judgments. Now, let's say you're Paul Mullin, right? For example, good striker, lower league striker, will get you some goals. Or even Ryan Bowman, right? And you think, Exeter are in for me. I'm not getting games at Shrewsbury. I'm not getting games at Wrexham. Or I want to move up the leagues. And they've offered $1 million, right? If you're good enough to be offered $1 million, Exeter City want you. Other clubs will want you, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, gone are the days where the gap between League One and League Two, like, we're not just up against League One teams that are struggling. We're up against League Two teams that want to get promoted. We're up against League Two teams that are struggling, that have got money, and probably conference teams as well.
Yeah.
That's the pool.
Competing in terms of the players.
The signature, getting a signature.
Yeah.
And I Google it. I'm Paul Mullin, and I'm like, where are Exeter City in the league? Oh, who's their manager? Oh, how's he doing? Oh, he's got the last 3 teams he's been in charge of relegated. Oh, right, okay. Where's Exeter again? Oh, it's flipping miles away. Oh, and have they got any money? No, they haven't got any money. Like, you just like, okay. So then you're like...
You'll just be like, I'll go to Colchester.
I'll go to Colchester. I'll go
Gillingham.
I'll stay till the summer when I'm out of contract, because actually that's better for my career than getting the relegation on the books.
Yeah.
So we're absolutely up against it. Now, conversely, he goes, right? This week, he disappears. I know David Artell's joined Grimsby, but a manager like that, who's got a successful promotion under their
Or someone else.
Someone else.
Anyone, you know.
They come in, they're like, it was bad before, but I got a new vision. You can sell that new vision to people. It's a great community club. Exeter's a lovely place to live. You know, it's weird, isn't it? I know it's two sides of the same coin, still in the same league position, but you can sell it completely differently. I don't think there's currently many selling points to get the striker we need to come to our club.
It's going to be very tricky.
Because we ain't got the money.
His manager also can't get there because he hasn't got a driving licence.
Yeah, so he's having to watch him on iFollow. His iFollow bill's through the roof.
And then he's going to have to FaceTime them.
Yeah.
Sorry, pal, can't drive up there because I've been banned.
Yeah, it's not a good. So there's all this stuff, isn't there, that's problematic. Plus, we've seen he's got no vision for changing the formation, the way we play, because, you know, needs a must.
No. I mean, like I said last night, the changes so far have come in the form of I'm going to stick a centre back up front.
Yeah.
And then we won't knock it around at the back all the time. Sometimes we'll hit a channel ball.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it goes, you know?
Yeah.
We've not seen, right, we need to address this. I'm doing something. I'm putting four at the back. Against Bolton, when we're on the worst form for ages, to not try and do something, especially at half. We had an opportunity at half time to limit it, but not to have not done it even before the game is not exactly encouraging, is it? For it's grim.
It's grim. And then there's still 6 games till. It seems to be permanently 6 games till January.
No, it's not 5 now.
I think it's still 6. I think because the Reading's on the 1st of January. So realistically, we've got 6 more games.
All right.
Before anyone can join, minimum. And probably, if you're that striker looking around and you have to join Exeter City because you're desperate to get out, you probably still wait a couple of weeks before you see if any better offers come in.
Yeah, and you might not be match fit because you're probably not playing wherever you are.
So then we're like, well, that's another 25 points. I mean, maths is bad there. It's another 18 points gone, potential points gone. Because honestly, at this rate, I wouldn't surprise me at all if we got less than 3 points from the next 6 games.
Who are the next 6 games?
Port Vale.
Port Vale at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stevenage away.
Hard.
Be very hard.
Jamie Reid will score against us, won't he? Does he want to come back?
Yeah, well, that's the thing,
He's
isn't
scoring
it?
for fun.
You say to Jamie Reid, what's £1 million? He'd be like, well, actually, I'll go.
We're not giving him. Well, how are we giving him £1 million?
Well, you know what? That's what I mean. Not him £1 million, but, you know, like, let's say we absolutely broke the bank, which we're not going to do anyway. Even if we did, it's not an enticing offer. Then it's Cambridge
away, yeah.
You know, strugglers. Wickham at home, that's Boxing Day. Portsmouth at home.
Yeah.
Nightmare. And then Reading away. Okay. So really...
Well, then Carlisle at home on the 6th as well. So let's say, even if things go really well, that we probably got someone in maybe by then, and if not, maybe by Blackpool away on the 13th of January. That is still
7 or 8 games.
Quite a long way away.
Yes. Yep. So...
That's 6 weeks, isn't it?
I'm really worried by it. Just this mad slide. I still don't understand how we're not in the relegation zone.
Well, this is the thing. It's like a really shit league that shouldn't be this difficult to navigate.
And that's the positive, isn't it? Someone comes in. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be Pep or Klopp.
No,
just need someone who can
absolutely
win
still lose games.
Yes,
you know, that's fine.
Yeah,
just got to win some of them, or you got to score some goals.
Score some goals.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Oh well, I hope we've depressed you all like we're depressed. I mean, hopefully in an hour we'll have uploaded this and we'll have to do another one straight away after because the news will be of a change. But
well, if anything does happen, you know, that hasn't been in time for this podcast, we could do another one at some point. But
you can listen to this and laugh and think these aren't our problems anymore.
But the likelihood is that nothing's going to change between now and next Saturday because there's no game this Saturday.
No game this Saturday because FA Cup.
We're out at the FA Cup.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, well, thanks for listening and joining us in our misery. On the plus side, it's really cold on Saturday and you can be in the warm.
Yeah.
That's something.
Well, you don't have to go. You don't have to stay indoors, do you?
You can choose.
Going to Exeter City isn't the only option for your life.
Oh, isn't it?
No, there's loads of things. You live in You live in Devon. There's all sorts of. You go to the Winter Wonderland. You know.
Can you though?
I don't know. Walk up and down the high street. Go to the beach.
Yeah.
Take the dog a walk on the beach.
Oh yeah, all right.
If you haven't got a dog, don't.
Or do.
Well, you can't go. You can't take a dog for a walk if you haven't got a dog.
No, you can go for a walk.
Well, yeah. You can do that thing where you borrow someone's dog. Lookaftermydog.com, or whatever it's called.
Lookaftermydog.com.
Anyone done that?
I haven't.
No?
I mean, I've looked after a dog. I just haven't been on the website.
Yeah, you can do that though, can't you? You can borrow my dog. Is that what it's called?
I mean, be careful what you Google in here, because
Borrow my dog. What's going to come up with that?
I don't know.
Nothing dodgy.
I
I think that's the thing.
Borrowmydog.com.
Yeah, I don't know if it's .com. Could be .co.uk. Could be anything.
Geocities.org.
Yeah, .gov. Might be an initiative.
Could be. It's pretty out of character. The current government's character would be kickerdog.com. Boot a cat.
Yeah.
Shout at a Scotsman. Oh. Maybe that's what we're doing?
Enough of that. We don't want to do any more of that. You know, I don't want to. You know, I like the Scottish people. My ancestors are Scottish.
Oh yeah.
Gary isn't doing them any favours. Not that he cares. Why would he?
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back in 10 days or so, unless we hear something.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully we'll be back in a minute.
Back in 20 minutes. Everyone set their alarms for 1:30. We'll see you here.
Let me just check if he's been sacked.
All right, we'll just do final check.
Oh. Is there one of those Twitter accounts yet? Has Gary Caldwell been sacked? And then they just post no every day until he is. That can't be far off.
If you want to start it, Dan.
No, don't want to. Doesn't look like there's been any news.
No news is bad news.
No news is bad news. Exactly, yeah. That's what they always say.
All right, we'll see you in half an hour, everyone. Thanks for listening. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.